10 years on hormones. Hi, my name is Mathilda and I am a trans woman and I've been on hormones, the HRT hormone replacement therapy, for 10 years. 10 whole years. What? But as you know, I have been documenting my journey on YouTube for a few years now, and this video will be kind of like the previous one, so we'll cover everything on this topic: estrogen and testosterone blockers, everything from emotional changes, mental state, physical pain, complications, the timeline of it all. And in the end of this video, I will also cover a few frequently asked questions. So buckle down, we're in for the long ride. But before we get into this video, I am so happy to announce that this video is actually in sponsorship with Hold It brand. And if you have no idea what they do or who they are, like, where the hell have you been? They mostly sell phone cases as well as other cases for other devices such as laptops and whatnot, and I've been using mine since a year back, so I was so happy when we decided on collaborating. And there are plenty of things that I love about them, but the thing that I love the most is that they're so durable. They feel expensive, however they're not expensive. You got me? They feel expensive, they're durable, and something else about them is that they look amazing. I mean, look at these. Look at these. And I have two of these. This one I got from them, and this one I bought myself like a year ago, and the quality, it's so good. And something else is, like, can you see? Okay, I can show you on my phone. And as you can see, this is a protection thing around the camera. I haven't actually seen that on a lot of other phone cases, and that's the reason behind me purchasing their products for the first time. Cameras on the iPhones are a little bit bulky, so you want to protect that, obviously, because they're expensive. They don't only have phone cases for iPhones, you can get them on Samsungs and whatnot, you know, all kind of different phone cases. Their phone cases are amazing. And something else, okay, I'm going to show you something else before we move on. I'm so excited. Yeah, I want to show you. As you can see, you get these with you. You can purchase other ones, and you just like take this little thing and then you can put it on your phone. Like, how cute is this? Yeah. Anyways, trust me, you won't regret it purchasing a phone case from Hold It. So click the links in my description box or my top comment and get yourself a phone case today. And thank you so much to Hold It for sponsoring today's video, and thank you for checking them out, because whenever you support a company that I work with, you also support me as well. But without further ado, let's get into all of the juicy things about HRT. So the first thing to cover about HRT is that there are three main forms of estrogen intake. The first one is orally in forms of pills that pass through your liver, and the second one is gels or patches, which go through the skin, and the gels you put on your thighs. Yeah. And the third one is injections, which is not really something you get here in Sweden, and obviously injections are injected through the skin, typically once a week. So those are the three main forms of estrogen intake, and I can put them here on the screen: the pill, the estrogen pill, and the testosterone blocker pill that I was using. I later switched from estrogen pills to estrogen gels, and I'm going to talk about the reasoning behind me doing that. But first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the hormone blockers. And the hormone blockers are exactly what they sound like. They block out your natural production of hormones. So if you're like me, transitioning from male to female, you want to block out your testosterone in your body to get rid of all the, you know, the male features. I just really want to point it out. If you're transitioning from male to female, you can only add so much. You cannot take away what the male puberty has already done. I just really want to point that out before I talk about something else. However, the one that I was using didn't really block the natural production. It more so flushed the testosterone out of my system. And with this kind of hormone blocker, the risks are like peeing a lot, because you're like flushing everything out, and also weaker bones. But I'm going to talk about that later as well. But I was on the hormone blockers for around a year or so before I had my bottom surgery, the SRS, the GRS. After that, you don't really have to be on the testosterone blockers anymore, since the body doesn't produce the same amount of testosterone. And at the same time, I also switched from my estrogen pills to estrogen gels. And the reasoning behind that was, since the pills are passing through your liver might take some damage of that. So my doctor recommended me to switch to a gel, which is called Divigel, which I've been using for the last 9 years or so, and they work really great. I put them on my thighs and they make me look like this. But the estrogen, as well as the hormone blockers, there are a lot of changes going on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the time frame and the timeline. The first 3 months, I didn't really see a lot of changes. The testosterone blockers will make you lose a lot of your muscle mass, since testosterone really helps you build your muscles. So when you go on the hormone blockers, you will notice a lot of a change in your muscle mass and you will get muscle toning. Then I also noticed my body hair thinning out, the hair getting a little bit blonder, and then I also noticed my skin getting a bit softer. I didn't really see a lot of fat redistribution going on in my face for the first 3 months. That was kinda the 6-month mark. However, I was told around the 3-month mark that I started looking very feminine and I started getting rounders, so I guess I didn't really see it myself. I noticed at the 6-month mark my cheeks getting rounder and I started losing that angular face. I started getting a rounder face and like bigger cheeks and just like my face being a lot more feminized. I haven't had surgery in my face at all, so all of these changes are due to the estrogen and the testosterone blockers and me having, you know, the bottom surgery and everything like that. So yeah, those are the first changes I noticed. And also around like between the 3 to 6 month mark, I started having aches in like the chest area and I started noticing them swelling up a little bit. So that was around the 6-month mark, or like between the 3 to 6 month mark. And then I started having physical pain in my hips and like my waist area. I guess they really started growing around that time. And something else, okay, this is like the most important thing, but as soon as I started going on the HRT, I'm just being completely honest now, your mental and emotional state will change. I started getting a lot of mood swings. I really felt my mood like fluctuating, so please be prepared for that. I don't know really if that is like a side effect or a risk, but something I do really love and something I didn't really expect to change on the HRT is like my whole emotional range. Before I started going on HRT, I didn't really cry a lot and like feeling things, and I'm so much more in touch with my feelings now and I can cry easier and I'm more happy whenever I'm happy. So yeah, that is something that will definitely change. Actually, I don't really see it as like a risk or like a side effect. I love having a broader emotional state. I just feel everything a lot more, which is something I really like. After a year or so, I really started seeing a lot of breast growth. These are not entirely from the HRT. I just want to really point it out. I had a breast augmentation after like 1.5 years, something like that. But yeah, after a year or so, I started seeing a lot of breast growth. I was like at an A cup. My waist were a lot more like prominent, or like I had more curves. I really started seeing my butt getting bigger and like my hips widening and everything like that. And at this point, my body hair was really thinned out. Most of my body hair was blonde. However, something that didn't really change was my facial hair. I didn't have a lot of facial hair prior to me getting on HRT, and that is what I was saying before. Your HRT, or like the estrogen, will give you things, but it won't take away the things that were happening during your male puberty. So yeah, my facial hair didn't really change on HRT. So I went to a clinic to remove the little facial hair I had. But the first year was really jam-packed with a lot of changes, but I still noticed a lot of changes even after my bottom surgery, since I was still on estrogen, and I'm still on estrogen to this day, and I will be on estrogen for the rest of my life. But after the bottom surgery, I still noticed a lot of changes, including my face being more feminized, getting curvier, and my breast development still going on even after my breast augmentation, and my mood stabilizing. I didn't get the same mood swings anymore, except a big except. After my bottom surgery, I went off my estrogen for a while, maybe like 2 weeks, and during that time I didn't have a single drop of hormones in my body, since after the bottom surgery, as I said, the body doesn't really produce testosterone to the same degree anymore. So yeah, my body didn't have a single drop of hormones in it. So my body was just going and acting a bit crazy. I had the craziest mood swings. I just cried and cried and cried, and yeah, it was just like a mess. But anyways, my mood stabilized after that, obviously, and I saw changes up until like the 4-5 year mark. Breast development, me just getting more feminized. However, now I don't really see a lot of changes anymore, but I am so incredibly happy with HRT. I don't think that I would sit here today if I wasn't and didn't have the privilege of being on HRT. It just changed my life completely. Estrogen saved my life. I'm now able to live my authentic life and be the person I've always wanted to be, but it saved my life. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about the risks and the complications that can occur on HRT. As I said, transitioning is hard. I'm just going to put it out. Transitioning is hard. Your emotional and mental state will change. You will see a different person in the mirror after a while, and obviously that is what we want, but it is kind of hard adjusting and everything like that. But now I will read out a few risks with the estrogen. So the first thing is sterilization. If it's really important to you getting biological children in the future, I really recommend a sperm bank for you, since being on HRT, even if you don't have the bottom surgery, just being on HRT will after a while sterilize you. I'm just going to be completely honest. So if it's really important to you getting biological children in the future, that is an option that you can do. And a few other things, short and long-term side effects are physical aches such as growth aches in breasts and other parts of your body. Emotions will be heightened, as I said, and you will get a lot of mood swings. With taking estrogen and blockers, you will have an increased chance of blood clots, getting weaker bones, weaker nails, and your libido will decrease. And this is something I really noticed myself. After like the 1st or 3-month mark, like my libido was completely gone, and it didn't really increase until after I had my bottom surgery, and then it was never on the same level as it was before. So that is a risk that you might have to live with. Your libido will decrease, but honestly, I kind of love it that way, if I'm going to be completely honest. But now I'm going to talk about the questions, and I have received plenty of questions. I'd love to hear about how HRT changes your sensitivity to temperature changes and what you do to cope. Okay, I started noticing this myself when I transitioned. I noticed me getting more like frozen and me enjoying hotter showers than I did before. However, I've always been underweight my entire life, so I've always been kind of frozen. But yes, I noticed this myself and how I coped. I mean, it wasn't really that hard to cope with. I just took hotter showers, and I love wearing sweaters all the time. So those are the things I do to cope with that. I recently started hormones a few months ago, and for those who struggle with anxiety, depression, the mood swings on HRT can be rough. How did you take care of yourself mentally during the first period of your transition? This was something I kind of talked about, the mood swings, and I'm so sorry you're feeling anxiety and depression. And how I cope with this, I was just very happy, even though I had a lot of mood swings and even though I felt sad and all of that, I also felt this euphoric feeling of finally being myself and seeing the changes I did. And if you feel really depressed, I really recommend you to talk to a doctor. Maybe there's something wrong with your dosage or something like that. So yeah, you can talk with your doctor about your HRT if you feel really drained or anxious or depressed. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. But yeah, I felt pretty euphoric from time to time, just seeing the changes and everything like that. So that's kind of how I coped. A common negative side effect rarely talked about is that HRT can weaken your nails, causing them to split and chip on the edges. I kind of briefly just mentioned this, but you can actually get weaker nails after the HRT, and I noticed this myself. The edges of my nails always like got destroyed and ruined, and they look crazy. I didn't have that problem before. And this will be the last question because this video is running a bit long. Hi guys, Mathilda from the future here. There was something going on with the camera. It just like stopped and I didn't resume where I was filming. So, you know, stupid of me. I'm sorry about that. However, the question was talking about what doesn't change on HRT. So the few things that won't change ever is your bone structure. That will be the same. However, this might change if you start your HRT pretty early on. And I'm talking about like before your male puberty. However, your bone structure will kind of be the same. Facial hair will not change. It won't recede or anything like that. It will definitely be the same which it was before. So you will have to go through laser or shaving or stuff like that. And a few other things which I've heard other people talk about is like getting thicker hair, which is definitely not something that will change. If you are starting your HRT journey later in life and you have a receding hairline, you will probably get those hair back. However, HRT won't give you luscious and long hair. That is pretty much down to your genetics. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that briefly. But yeah, that was the last question for today. And yeah. But yeah, as I said, this video is running a bit long, but thank you so much for watching up until this point, and thank you to Hold It for sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in their products, and I really recommend them, you can click the link down below and in my description box. Click the link, description box. Okay, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!